Yeah, weird wind smashing on my door. Okay.
Oh, goodness. Oh, whatever, it'll be fine. Okay.
Yeah, we're
Ready?
live. Yep.
Okay. Hello, everyone. LoremasterOfSotek here, of course, with Great Book of Grudges. Good old Nathan. It's Sunday, which means it's time for another episode of Lorebeards.
Mm-hmm.
This week, we've got a couple things to talk about. There's no guest this week, which will happen from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
We're not hardcore on having guests every week, just every once in a while. But there are a few things to discuss. But before we get into it, we of course need to check in with how everybody's doing. So Nathan, how are you? What have you been up to?
Good. Not too much. I've been sorting out the pile of shame, dividing it into sections as to what I want to paint through what months and so on. Trying to make sure that everything's all sorted because I'm getting back to battle reports in the channel soon, so that's going to be fun.
Battle reports for what?
Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition, some 6th edition.
Oh, baby.
And for fun, if I can get a certain guest down, which I'll tell you on DMs later because I don't want to say it live just in case he's not able to. We're going to do a one-off of 3rd edition too.
3rd edition?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's going to be fun. But yeah, what about you?
I've been good. Spent the last week, been streaming a lot. Been working through The Witcher 3.
I've seen. You must be really enjoying that.
I have. I've been enjoying it a lot, and we've been streaming quite a bit. Been working really hard to try and get over that last little hump so I can get partnered with Twitch so that I can have that fancy check mark.
Fun.
and get some better revenue from them. But things are going well. And yeah, no major complaints. Got signed up for a couple of Age of Sigmar tournaments.
Ooh.
So I'm signed up for the October tournament, which will be later this month. And I also got signed up for another grand tournament in February, which is the one that's local here. So I don't have to worry about getting a hotel room because it's not that far. It's very, very close. I could just drive to it, which would be super nice. So spent about $100 on tickets, which is not ideal, but whatever. I'm looking forward to it. So speaking of this week and being tired and things not being done, we're gonna show off what people have submitted for Lorebeards, but me and Nathan both realized that we both need a little more time.
Yeah.
Because we're struggling. I did not do a great job prioritizing my time because I was like, oh, I'll just paint. I'm so close to finishing. I'll just paint the last of my guys on Saturday, and then Saturday showed up, and I was like, okay, well, I want to stream a little bit. Okay, well, now I gotta make a video. Okay, well, now I gotta. I was sent a bunch of questions from this website that wanted me to they were like, hey, could you answer some questions for us? So I was like, yeah, sure. And it ended up being 35 questions.
Jeez.
It was like, oh my god. So that took a hot minute, and I just did poor time management. So we're gonna give another week to finish a unit for anyone that's like us and needs more time. But we did get a couple of entries on Twitter that we want to show off. The first of which being yours, or at least one of your guys.
Oh, for me, it shows you first. Wait, that's from the 19th.
No, that's from the Hero Week.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah, so my converted Chaos Warrior, nothing too special. Warrior Sotech, as you can tell by the gold. He still needs a bit touching up and so on, but hey, I just wanted to show something off. He's got the helmet from the Hellstrider, and a sanded down shield, which took an absolute age because I've had to sand down 30 shields in total.
Oh my god.
But it was quite fun. I quite like the warrior. The helmet works really well too because it gives it a little bit more Soneshi feel, you know?
Yeah, it does.
It's not great lighting, unfortunately, but I tried with what I could there.
And then the next thing we've got is actually from Jay Phoenix. That's a name I recognize. Who sent us some pictures of his Night Watch, which look really, really good.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. I love Game of Thrones, man. The tabletop game is really fun too.
I like how they've got circle bases into then a larger square base.
That is
why
really
have one
nice.
when you can have both?
It is.
Yeah, they look fantastic.
Yeah, like wow, I really like these minis.
I think one of the fastest ways you can tell if someone's a very, very, very good painter is whether if they have human minis, you can zoom in super close and see the details on their faces. If you can, you're like, that guy's amazing. That guy's way better than I am.
Night's Watch stuff is just really cool. I love the tabletop range for these things. It's just so fun. The Game of Thrones one is just, they got great looking minis.
Yes. And then the last one we have that we're going to be showing up for today, though people can still join in for next week, is a group of... Oop, hold on.
There's a few, actually.
I only see the one from Toaster King. Are you seeing more than me?
Yeah, I can see one from the 27th. The Praetors.
Huh, I don't see that one. Oh, wait, no, now I'm seeing them.
Yeah.
I'm seeing them. What the heck? Okay, wow. I don't know why my timeline's all messed up.
Okay. Same. It's just weird.
Okay, well, so let's take a look at this unit. Okay, well, I'm glad you pointed that out. Otherwise, there probably would have been a lot of people like, what the hell? Why do you skip me? What an asshole. Why does Lord Master hate me? So, just grabbing all the... So, we've got some Lumineth Realm Lords here from Toaster King.
Ooh.
And they look absolutely spectacular. He's done a really wonderful job. Like, considering... He's done a really good job on the script. And did he freehand paint those banners?
Might have.
The little symbols on them? Looks really nice.
Yeah, it looks like it.
But he's got this, so he's got a couple of wardens here. We got a couple different pictures. Looks like he's working on quite a few Lumineth Realm Lords. I actually had my first game against Lumineth Realm Lords the other day, and they are... I won, but they are spooky. They're very spooky. And then he also... oh, go ahead.
It's a great looking army. Like, I must admit, I'm intimidated about painting these guys because there's just so much detail when it comes to the Lumineth.
Oh, yeah. And then in the back, he also has an Altharian, the Warrior of Light, which is such a damn cool model. Like, the fact that it's just an empty suit of armor is really clever on GW's part. It may not seem clever, but they did a really good job with it.
I'm trying to figure out what paint he used for the armor for Altharian. Was that Skeletal Horde?
Yeah, it looks like some kind of ivory that it's definitely got some kind of shade or ink on it. Because you can see it pulled in the recesses on his boots.
Yeah. It is.
So
nice
if I had
color.
to guess, it's probably some kind of ivory with like maybe Agrax Earthshade or something.
Could be.
It looks very nice though.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Okay, next we have...
You got Goat Force next.
Ooh, with a zombie. These are one of the
He's got
new
a
ones,
zombie
right?
boy. Yes. And that is a gorgeously... Wow, that's actually... I don't know what shade he used, but it turned out really nicely on the zombie. Like, it looks like it's almost used on the blade and the skin, but whatever he used pulled really, really well in the recesses. Also, that's a nasty little eye socket he's got going there.
Oh, that is really,
Looks
really
great,
nice.
though.
These are the ones that came out with Cursed City, is it?
Yes, but they're also just the new zombie sculpt.
Oh, okay.
So Cursed City was kind of like a preview.
Right.
All right, next up we've got Denevere. submitted a group of some of the new Stormcast Eternal models.
Ooh. I like
so
these.
These are the Praetors, which have some very sexy two-handed axes that look really good. And man, Stormcast, I do not envy people that paint Stormcast, because the sheer amount of metallics you have to use on these guys is nuts.
They look so much better when they're painted in silver than they are gold, though. Look at these. They are just stunning.
Oh, yeah. No, I absolutely agree. They look fantastic, and I honestly think gold is the worst color for Stormcast Eternals. Like, I know it's the main color. Oh, by the way, Toast King said for his Eltharion, it's Seraphim Sepia is the shader that they used on the ivory color.
Good to know. Thank you.
But yeah, these guys look great. I'm personally kind of a pretty big fan of the newer Stormcast sculpts. I can't remember if the Praetors came out with this group or if they're from a slightly older group. But yeah, the silver just looks so much better. But yeah, they look great. They look awesome. I really like the color scheme he went with. Like, the gold does really well as a nice accent, and the white has a very nice interaction with the silver. Like, it's just a good color scheme. Everything blends together really nicely.
And we have one last submission, which came in on the 30th. I'm trying to find it. There it is.
Demons.
Yeah.
His first unit he's ever completed.
Nice.
Well, first of all, welcome to the hobby, dude. Second of all, they're looking great so far. Make sure to thin your paints. That's the hardest lesson for everybody to learn, is thin your paints. It will make your life so much easier.
I love the blue blade, though. That's a great contrast with the red and the black.
It is, yeah. The blue swords it helps it stand out a lot more instead of just having like fiery swords on a red bloody demon. But you're off to a solid start, dude. Big congrats on finishing a unit, because that's one of the hardest things. Is just getting something done to a place where you're like, yeah, I'm okay with this. So congrats, dude. And Stefan, we are excited to see how your hobby journey goes in the future. Also, Marcus, thanks for the meme. We did see it. So thank you for that.
That was awesome. Okay, so camera back. There we go.
All right, so we're Efnatario, I didn't see it. Did you use the Lorebeards hashtag? Hold on.
That's all right.
Let me double check. Maybe it was further down the timeline. Just got. Oh, wait. Oh no, we saw those. We definitely saw those. Oh, Naradio, we went over your Trogoth and your Squig Rider and stuff last week. Unless you submitted something new, but I don't see anything new. But we went over your minis last week.
Yeah, because that was, I think Baldy was gushing over the Trogoth, wasn't he?
Yeah. Because I think you submitted it early. That's why. So we went ahead and went over it last week. But anyway, so with that out of the way, once again, we are adding one more week for painting units. Come hell or high water. So hopefully me and Nathan can get our crap done and have a submission there. But from there, let's go ahead and hop into today's first topic, which is we're going to be talking about Tzeentch, because as most people may be aware, we are pseudo-rapidly approaching Tzeentch coverage in Total War Warhammer. It's probably going to be another 2 or 3 weeks before it's Tzeentch time, but then it's going to be Tzeentch for probably like a good month, knowing CA.
Yeah.
In their current marketing cycle. So let's talk Tzeentch in Total War. Nathan, do you have any particular places you'd like to start the conversation?
Well, so far we've seen quite a lot of the roster. I want to talk about that new unit because Games Workshop, when they did that article, they were really like, yes, this is a new unit, you know? The Disc Riders. Now,
yes. Who will come up in a later segment today as well.
Yeah. But, like, it's cool that we got new stuff because it bodes well for, say, for example, Tzeentch needed something new, let's be honest. And Slaanesh and Nurgle kind of need something, so maybe in the future we might see something cool for them too. But I was just really impressed that they created something new because, you know, as far as we're aware, this is only set in 8th edition and going back a little bit. And this was going forward. So who knows what that means for future DLC, especially for that. The roster so far we've seen, I like. I mean, you know, blue horrors, pink horrors, we had Spawn. There was a picture of a flamer. Well, not a picture. There was in that screenshot.
There's actually 2 kinds of flamers that I've seen so far.
Oh, really?
There's an Exalted Flamer hero, and then there's just regular flamers as a unit.
Oh.
You could tell because the fire coming out of their like bodies is different. Is a different color depending on which version it is.
Right, I hadn't noticed that. So we're getting quite a nice show off, and obviously we had that. Was it a screenshot? Or was it in previous art when they were hinting towards the future? The Tzeentchian Soul Grinder.
We've seen them in screenshots.
So, like, we're getting a lot of cool stuff. I like Tzeentch personally. I think that obviously he needs a bit of a visual update for the Disc Riders and the Chaos Warriors, maybe.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But I agree. I'm really excited for the Disc Riders. That's actually a unit that we don't have in any form of the tabletop. That it's like, oh, those look cool. Can we have those? I think any Tzeentch player that plays tabletop for Age of Sigmar, any Disciples of Tzeentch player is probably like, where am I flying chosen? Because in tabletop they do have a Disc Rider unit, but they're Zongors. They're not warriors. I think they have Zongors with bows, and I think there's a melee variant, but they're like the Zongor Enlightened. But I kind of figure that I think it seems like Games Workshop is. I do think we're going to see a Zongor unit, but I don't think it's going to be the same as the Age of Sigmar ones, where there's like a whole little subgroup of them. I think it's going to be like we saw with the Khorne roster, where they get one Beastman. You know, the Khorne didn't even get Khorngors; he got Khornatars or whatever they're called, which are great. I'm not complaining about that, but. So I almost feel like they were looking at the Zongors and said, okay, well, we don't want to make like a ton of these. Like we don't want to bring in a whole AOS thing. So let's take the concept of the Zongors, which the most unique thing they bring is Disc Riders, and make that for fantasy. So boop, there you go. You got a Warrior of Chaos on top. Which honestly, I think fits the roster better, to be frank, because it feels much more like a heavy cavalry. Like a heavy cav unit with a lot of mobility, because the Zongors are cool, but they don't wear any armor. They're very lightly armored. Like they're wearing like skirts, and that's it. Whereas these guys are like full plate with shields and halberds, which is just like, oh my god, like that is so. That's a to me they feel like the equivalent of the Skull Crushers for Khorne. Which I'm kind of curious if that's going to be standard across the 4 factions. Is if they're going to be like, okay, we want every group to have like a big boy chosen rider unit. Because right now we're looking at, we've got Skull Crushers for Khorne. We've got the new Disc Riders of Tzeentch, which we know are chosen tier riders. So they're like hardcore Chaos Knights, just like the Skull Crushers. For Nurgle, I highly suspect we're going to see some variant of we're going to see like a chosen on Plague Drone.
Oh, that would be cool. I'd love that.
Yeah. Because they have them in Age of Sigmar, but in Age of Sigmar, they're Putrid Blight Kings, which I don't think we're going to see Putrid Blight Kings. Or at least not right away, maybe later, but I would be surprised if they're in the base roster. Because they didn't use any of the Khornates because Khorne and Nurgle were the only two that got their Age of Sigmar guys during the end times.
Yeah.
Because Khorne got like the Skull Reapers and I forget what the other type of Marauder are called, and Nurgle got the Putrid Blight Kings, which were very explicitly Age of Sigmar minis, but they showed up during the end times to get them out the door. But so I'm not expecting to see those, but what I am expecting to see is just Nurgle warriors riding on plague drones as their big boy, and then I don't know what they're gonna do for Slaanesh. Like maybe like Slaanesh warriors on fiends or something.
I don't think you can ride fiends.
Not traditionally, but warriors also couldn't ride discs in a unit before now.
I'd love to see. I'd love to see.
Or would you rather the boob snakes come back?
Well, I would like the boob snakes, but that would make them monstrous cav, and I really don't like monstrous cav in Total War unless it gets balanced a bit better. Well, we've got the cavalry beta, so.
Yeah, well, and it seems like these are kind of monstrous cav. Like the Skull Crushers are absolutely monstrous cav. The Disc Riders, I don't know really where to place them. They look like monstrous cav, but they feel, I guess, more like Pegasus Knights, where they're more on the cavalry side than the monstrous cavalry side, but they're kind of like in a weird half zone. The plague drones are absolutely going to be monstrous cav. Those things are huge.
Yeah.
But for Slaanesh, I'm really curious what they'll do Slaanesh.
You know, it'd be interesting. Chaos Knights on Hellstriders. But
they would be fast.
But they would have to be like heavily armored, like a little bit slower, kind of like, you know how the Exalted ones look on in Age of Sigmar, in a sense that they're kind of nice and pretty looking and so on. Yeah, I've got this one next to me at all times. But like,
yeah, they definitely need to be heavier than that.
Yeah, with more armor plates and so on, I think it would be really nice.
Yeah, because it is worth noting that Slaanesh does have the Hellstriders of Slaanesh, which are a unique unit. They're a fast, very, very fast cavalry unit of Marauders that are bound on their what the hell are Slaanesh's steeds called? Seekers. Like he does have a unique unit, but it's in a very different classification than the others, where the others all feel very, very heavy and kind of like super elite. Hellstriders are not elite. They're just like, they're good, but they're not an elite unit.
They were top tier on the tabletop because you would have them because they were fast cav, they had poison, and they had Strider too.
Oh yeah, they were great. But they were like, they were very squishy. Like if something looked at them the wrong way, they would just explode. But they were very, very efficient at what they did. Absolutely. So I'm curious, and who knows? Someone in chat suggested maybe they'll have a unique chariot unit. That could be it too. Maybe there'll be like a super chariot with Chosen on it. That would be very Slaaneshy. Slaanesh is gonna have a lot of chariots.
Yeah.
So many chariots. But the other things with Tzeentch that I'm really excited for is I'm glad to see they're going the direction of Tzeentch having a lot of shooting. One of the tricky things with Tzeentch is that from a tabletop perspective, Tzeentch had some shooting, but it was mostly just like crazy amounts of magic.
Yeah. And
a lot of bound spells. Which in 8th edition kind of came with some problems because you only had so much winds of magic in a turn. So having a ton of horrors on the table who all needed at least one dice to cast their spell was not ideal because that was taking dice away from your greater demons and your sorcerer lords and all that stuff. So I'm much preferring seeing just shooting attacks everywhere where we see, you know, in all the trailers we've seen pink horrors throwing the pink fire of Tzeentch. I'm imagining blue horrors will also throw their have a shooting attack as well. Knowing Creative Assembly, it'll have ammo, which is weird, but whatever. Yeah, it's just for game balance. That being said, the only thing I haven't seen that I'm curious about is I haven't really seen any indication of the horrors like splitting.
I was about to mention that.
of when the pink horrors die, it looks like they just kind of die. But this could be explained if they do it once again on like probably from a game design perspective, a smarter way, which would be that when the pink horror unit loses enough health, it dies and then just spawns an entire new unit. Because obviously doing it on a model by model basis would be impossible in the system we know. But I really hope they have a split mechanic. It would genuinely really suck, like to have pink horrors that just die.
Yeah,
it would feel wrong.
Well, we have something of that because obviously when we kill a Hellpit Abomination, there's a chance of it spawning clan rats.
Yeah, it's a well-established feature in the game. And I haven't. I'm not like saying, oh, it's not there. Like I think it's there, but we just haven't gotten to see it yet. Something you mentioned earlier that I also want to kind of reiterate for people watching. It's something that I think probably needs to be. If there's one thing I really wish CA would nip in the bud and talk frankly about, it's the design of the Chaos factions as far as what their rosters seem to be doing, which is that, to be frank, they are monogod, but they're not monogod in the sense that a lot of people seem to think they are.
Yeah.
And that they're not hordes of chaos. They're not, here's all the beastmen, all the warriors, all the demons under Tzeentch. It's the demons of Tzeentch plus a couple of friends.
Yeah.
That's the way it works. Which makes sense if your goal is to keep the Warriors of Chaos as a big, playable, unique feeling faction, which seems to be the goal, from what I can tell, is the idea of, okay, we're not going to give you Chaos Lords, we're not going to give you Sorcerer Lords, we're not even going to give you Exalted Heroes or Sorcerers. We're going to give you Cultists, and the reason we're giving you Cultists is because demons are the main characters of these factions. So, like, you're probably not going to see Valkia and Khorne, or Galroch and Tzeentch, or probably Galroch is a bad example. Village the Curseling. You're probably not going to see Festus the Leech Lord and Nurgle. Those are probably going to be actual Warhammer or Warriors of Chaos characters who will hopefully have unique skins and stuff for their guys. Especially, and once again, we'll talk about this later, if they go ahead and make unique skins now, it'll be a lot easier to put those in the Warriors roster when you get your unique lords. But for Tzeentch, because for Khorne, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Khorne got 3 warrior units. He got the actual like Chaos Warriors, not like from the Warriors of Chaos, but like actual Chaos Warriors.
I think he got all 4, didn't he?
No, he got great weapons,
dual wielding,
double two-handed, and then sword and board. That's it. He did not get any halberds.
No? Oh, okay.
I remember that super specifically because I was like, oh, there's no like anti-large there. So there are 3 warrior variants in the Khorne roster. Then there are Chaos Warhounds, and I think that was it. And Chaos Spawn. Spawn. So those were the only warrior chaos units that show up in the roster, and then he got Minotaur, a new Minotaur variant, being the Cornitars.
And a Gore, right?
Say what?
They had 2 Beastmen, I think.
I only saw 1.
I can't remember where that screenshot is. That's the one, the one where they had the cultists, where everyone kept thinking it was the Age of Sigmar one. Admittedly, I thought it was 2.
Well, it looked like him. It seems heavily based on him.
Yeah, but no. There was.
Gorby's Chariots. Thank you, chat. Gorby's Chariots is the last thing.
No, but they had one more thing. I'm pretty sure. I
don't even think he had regular Chariots. It's like literally just Gorebeast. It just goes straight to Gorebeast.
Khorne roster reveal. I forgot they did a blog.
Yeah.
I might be losing my mind.
I'm pretty sure there's only 1 Beastman unit.
I am losing my mind. I could have sworn.
They announced Khorne Gores for Blood Bowl. Maybe that's what's messing with you.
Yeah, it could be. No Minotaurs. Yeah, I'm losing my mind. Sorry. God.
No, you're all good. You're all good. We're both a little ragged today. So for Tzeentch, I'm expecting the same thing. So far it's lining up. There are 3 like warrior units that we've seen so far, which is like on foot, which we've got Forsaken, and then sword and board, and then just one-handed weapon, which is weird. I'm not sure what the deal is with the one-handed weapon guys. Like, unless they're shooting fire out of their other hand, like that would be cool. But I haven't seen that yet. If they're literally just one-handed sword, like one hand and that's it, and then their other hand's empty and there's nothing going on, that's gonna feel super stupid. To be honest, I would much prefer like halberds or great weapons or something.
Well, it was quite common on the tabletop to take Warriors of Tzeentch with halberds, wasn't it? Because you get the free up armor save and
super duper famous build. Yeah, you get your armor save, you get your ward save, and though Tzeentch with sword and board was also popular because it would boost your parry save to a 5. But if they are hybrid, like they can actually shoot, like they have a unique animation, I have no complaint. But yeah, so we've got them confirmed. Then we've got our fly boys, but that's a new thing. Chaos spawn, just like regular, just like Khorne did. And then there's something else I've seen, and I'm drawing a blank in the Tzeentch roster. It was Forsaken, Chaos Spawn. He doesn't have Warhounds. I haven't seen any Warhounds.
Oh, he'll probably have them. I know he's got because we've seen it like very faintly. He's got Furies, but everyone's gonna have Furies.
Yeah, everyone's got Furies. I haven't seen any Warhounds in any of the art or any of the screenshots. Maybe that's because like he has flyers as like his fast thing with the disc riders and the screamers and stuff. But now that I think about it, yeah, I don't know. Granted, we haven't really got like the Tzeentch focus yet, so there's a bunch up in the air. I'm expecting a Beastman unit. They're hiding it, but it's there somewhere. I'm expecting a Beastman unit. I'm not sure what other. Presumably they'll have one more warrior unit. Maybe we'll. Oh no, they have Chaos Knights. That's what I was forgetting. They have Chaos Knights, like regular Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. You can see them. You can see them in one of the screenshots.
I am blind. I'm absolutely.
Well, they're literally buried in the super duper far back, in one of the images. But yeah, so there's Chaos Knights of Tzeentch, and then there's Sword and Board Warriors, one-handed warriors, and Chaos Spawn are the ones we've confirmed so far from the Warriors of Chaos roster. And then it's all the Tzeentch demons. And I'm expecting that to kind of be the formula going forward. Is I'm expecting like 4 to 6 Warriors of Chaos or units in the demon roster, plus all the demons, 1 Beastman unit per group, and then like a cultist. And that's probably going to be the formula for the demons of chaos,
which is fine because it does leave. Does it? How is that going to work for DLC? That's going to be weird, isn't it?
I have no idea. I have literally no idea, because it wouldn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't, unless something crazy happens. Like, CA would be out of their mind to try and sell, like, hey, you know those units and those armies you already own? They're DLC. Like, that would not go over well. And like, yeah, someone in chat said unless they start pulling from Age of Sigmar, that's possible, but I really don't think they're good. I'll put it this way. Me and Nathan have had a lot of really good conversations, both separately and together, with people from CA, and there has been no indication of them pulling from AOS.
And even then, like, say in the hypothetical they do bring from AOS, there's not that much to justify a lot of DLC, to be honest.
It wouldn't be a lot, but there's definitely some stuff they could pull out, you know, where it's like Nurgle, oh, Putrid Blight Kings, Slaanesh, here's all your archer, like Blissbarb archers and your new cavalry guys and all this stuff. Oh, Tzeentch, here's all your Zongors, and then Khorne, here's all your Gore Blades and
Yeah, but that's
like there's stuff, but it gets really messy really fast.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. I love the Age of Sigmar minis, the new warrior types, the Blood Warriors. I've been building some of them.
Blood Warriors. That's what I was trying to think of.
Because they're quite gorgeous, but even if they added them in, there could only be like maybe one DLC per faction.
Oh,
because
VIKRAM, thank you.
Because of the issue with like there's so very little stuff. Like I'm honestly thinking that we're going to get a few DLC packs soon because most of the races are done, and then they're just going to move on to character packs.
I mean, I hope so personally. Like the Lord packs are fun, but honestly, like I would prefer if they don't open that door to AOS, because if you open that door, it's just like, where does it stop? You know, like you're gonna have Dark Elf players being like, "Hey, can I get the Melusai and the Kinnerai from Daughters of Cain?" And you're gonna have High Elf players being like, "Can I have some of these Lumineth Realm Lord units?" And like it's literally endless. That's just like vampire count players are gonna be like, "Hey, can I get some of that Soulblight Gravelord, like those giant monster ladies or whatever?" Like I just think it's endless. Like just don't open that door. Don't do it. It's not gonna end well.
I think it works for maybe the chaos stuff because as far as we're concerned, well, lore-wise, it's like interdimensional, blah 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 blah. But even then, there's not that many demons that are. Have the demons had any demon releases in Age of Sigmar?
Oh yeah. Slaanesh got a bunch.
No, I mean demons, not mortals.
No, yeah. The demons got the Infernal Enraptus for the and the conjoined epitome. Like there's a bunch of characters that got out. But I mean, yeah, the thing is that it's gonna be weird. It's like I honestly, I mean, I don't know who all agrees with me on this, but I would be much more interested in like, hey, here are the Lord packs you absolutely need to like finish out some of the rosters in game 1 and game 2, and then we're just doing like genuine new races and character packs, and that's it. Like I don't need any more. I really don't need infinite Lord packs or DLC. I honestly find Lord versus Lord to be one of the worst DLC variants because it's so narrow. And it's so easy to be a complete miss. I'd much prefer them be like, hey, here's all the armies finished out. Like, okay, here's your last empire versus here's some dwarf stuff. Here's everything. And now we're gonna do characters. Here's like a character pack where a bunch of races get a legendary lord and legendary heroes. Here's a monster pack where a bunch of different races get like a big monster. Here's new race pack for End and Koresh and Nippon and Fish People. Like we're going all in, and this, you know,
you had to mention Fish People.
Fish People. That's the official name. that's their official faction name. Is Fish People. But like that would be way better. I think it would be better for the game's playability. Yeah. It would be better for the multiplayer scene, minus balancing. It would be better, I think, for the universe. Yeah. I find Lord packs to be grossly overrated, in my opinion. Like they're cheap. That's the only good thing about them is they're cheap.
Yeah, they're like a tenner more or less, no?
Yeah, usually they're like $10. But anyway, so I see a lot of people asking in chat, so I just want to clarify this. In Warhammer Fantasy, the Slaughter Brute, I know it doesn't seem like it, but the Slaughter Brute is an undivided monster. And it's a Warriors of Chaos monster. It's not a demon. It's not a demon. And it's not a Khorne demon. It's not even related to Khorne. It's just, I know it looks like Khorne, it quacks like Khorne, but it's undivided. Like, I know it's weird. It's basically just a really angry chaos spawn. That's essentially what it is. But anyway, you good on Tzeentch?
Yeah, same as the following on for that. Isn't the Mutaleth Vortex Beast again undivided?
Yes, but I believe it can take marks. Like its base form is undivided, but I think in 8th edition you could mark it.
I've got the book here. Let me find that. Because I'll be honest, I've got one painted, but I've never actually used one.
They can be really good if you're good at rolling dice, because the random effects from their portal is pretty random.
No mocks.
Oh, okay, then yeah, they're just pure Undivided.
Weird.
Well, I mean, like, I guess, like, to be divided, you have to be able to, like, consciously make a choice, right?
Yeah, true. Fair point.
So if you're a big monster, you know, I guess that doesn't really come into it. Like, I think the only monster in the Warriors of Chaos that could actually take marks is Chaos Giants. The Chimera cannot, the Slaughter Brute can't, the Mutilith Vortex Beaks cannot. I think that's all their big monsters. Man, I want a Chimera so bad. I feel like we've been waiting forever for that Chimera.
That and the Cockatrice. I actually really like those.
Oh yeah, the Cockatrice is great. I hope the Cockatrice ends up being a Beastman monster rather than a Warriors of Chaos monster. But yeah. Anyway. Oh, and the last thing worth mentioning is I am really looking forward to seeing how they're going to rework Tzeentch magic. Because Tzeentch magic in tabletop was absolute fucking garbage. I mean, garbage. It was super bad.
Yeah, some people might be shocked to hear this, but Tzeentch was actually one of the top tier, Warriors of Tzeentch was one of the top tier play styles that you could have in the competitive scene, but it was melee focused.
Yep. And Demons of Tzeentch was absolute horseshit. It was so bad. It was so bad. And the reason, for anyone wondering, like, why, the Tzeentch, you know, it looks like he's shooting fire, right? Well, Games Workshop was like, it's not really fire. It's this mutating magical energy. So, A, it wasn't flaming. Didn't count for fire damage. And B, when you got hurt by something Tzeentch-ish, with the exception of the Flamers of Tzeentch, they were actually good. Flamers of Tzeentch were really, really good. But most of the other stuff tended to be really bad because the problem with Tzeentch magic was that the spell's attribute, so like the thing that would trigger with every spell you cast, basically said, whenever you deal damage with a spell from Tzeentch, roll a dice, and it might deal bonus damage, or you'll give the enemy regeneration. And if they already have regeneration, you improve their regeneration by 1. So, like, you could accidentally turn any enemy unit into a troll. Give them, like, a 4-up regeneration save, because you're just trying to deal damage. Like, stupid rule. Immensely stupid rule. Yeah, it was garbage.
Well, to be fair, the whole army book for Demons of Chaos was kind of crap. Like,
yeah, I mean, if you were min-maxing, you could make a pretty mean army by like min-maxing Slaanesh with like Nurgle tankiness with Slaanesh, just sheer number of attacks and armor piercing. Because Slaanesh, you could get like armor piercing, always strike first, and you would take them in a group of like 40 or 50 demonettes in horde formation, and they would literally just run shit over. Also, Cacophonic Choir, most bullshit spell in the game. As far as I'm concerned. That spell was absolute horseshit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think that's enough on Tzeentch for now. But, so let's actually hop into today's Who Would Win. Chat, we know y'all love these. And Rodrigo, if you're out there, we look forward to your art. For today's, I kind of racked my brain about what might be an interesting matchup. And for today's matchup, we're going to have some human-on-human action. And we're doing the Fey Enchantress. Well, human on perhaps human, probably elf, but pretends to be human, but might be an elf. It's not really clear. Anyway, we're doing the Fey Enchantress versus Volkmar the Grim. So we're having a battle of religions, because that's everyone's... Historically, humans love religion versus religion. It's a great pastime. So, for anyone that kind of needs a refresher, on one hand, we have the Fey Enchantress. She's going to be coming into battle on her unicorn Souverain, which unicorns in Warhammer Fantasy are actually much scarier than most people think they are. They are fairly large, and they're violent. They're mean. like they're noble creatures, but they have no issue impaling you and ripping your guts out with their horns. They're also basically immune to magic. The Fey Enchantress actually usually rides Silveron because he's freakishly fast. He's a magical creature in nature, and his literal existence repels enemy magic. So it makes it very, very difficult for enemies to actually cast any spells that would affect the Fey Enchantress while she's riding him. On top of that, she does have a couple of magic items that are worth noting. She does, of course, have her goblet, which I'm super sad she doesn't carry around with her in Total War. Like, in some of the promotional footage we saw of the Fey Enchantress, she had like a sword and the chalice in the other hand, which, you know, obviously in actual Total War, she just keeps her hands free so she can blast people with spells, which looks cool. But anyway, the chalice, and what it does in the actual lore is basically if she sups from it, and its actual like innate power allows her to draw from the lore of heavens and basically just like unleash bullshit. And in Total War, they simplified it by just making it dropping a comet, but it has the ability to unleash any spell from the lore of heavens, whether that's like unleashing a blizzard of ice to make the enemy like slowed down and unable to react as well, you know, calling down a thunderbolt to hit somebody, dropping a comet, summoning chain lightning to just obliterate stuff, or messing with fate, so to speak, with like Curse of the Midnight Wind or Harmonic Convergence, where she can kind of mess with reality a little bit and try and turn the odds in her favor. But the thing about the Chalice of Potions is that it's not guaranteed what it's going to do. Like, it's a little random what it's going to spit out. She can't necessarily like, I want to do this. She has some control over it, but it might not behave. She also has her girdle. She has a magical, I think that's the right word for it. I think it's her saddle or something she attaches to the horse or something. I don't know what it is, but it's I'd have to look it up. But it basically just offers her a lot of protection. It wards her against most attacks, most damage. And of course, the Fey Enchantress does have some really nasty abilities. She literally, this isn't represented in Total War, and I hate that it isn't. She literally has a look that can kill. The Fey Enchantress, if she looks at you, like makes eye contact with you, there is a fairly okay chance that she will instantly kill you. Like, you just drop dead. That's super scary. It's a very nasty ability. She's used to good effect. She also does have a history and an ability, though it's not easy to pull off, to turn you into a frog. So, that's fun. On the other hand, we've got Volkmar the Grim. Volkmar the Grim is, of course, going to be showing up to battle in his legendary War Altar, which is big, but it's also a lumbering mess of a chariot that is held together probably more by faith than anything else. It is very, very powerful magically. It is charged with enough essentially holy magic to unleash something that's the equivalent of banishment, which is more for scything through large groups of people or obliterating undead or demons pretty much at the snap of a finger. Volkmar does, of course, have many prayers that he can invoke to power himself up in battle. That being said, prayers, unlike the way they're shown in Total War, because Total War doesn't have a dispel system, yes, she does have the Mirror of Morgiana as well. But if I recall correctly, the mirror is more about reflecting spells, which is not going to be particularly useful against Volkmar. And then for Volkmar the Grim, his big thing is he has a number of prayers. He can make himself hit like a truck. He can ward himself through the power of faith. He can summon basically kind of blasts to hurt enemies with fiery damage. And then, of course, he has the Jade Griffin, which regenerates him and basically keeps him in good health and shape so long as he's wearing it. And then he's got his Staff of Office, which the staff basically makes him like really strong. Like, even though he's very old like he's easily in like his 60s or something. It basically gives him like the strength of a young man plus. Like he's got a mean case of old man strength. Because of his I forget what the name of it is, but it's not the hammer, it's his like actual staff of office that he carries. But what I was gonna say about the dispel system is that in the actual lore of Warhammer Fantasy, prayers, like the system that how prayers work actually interacts with the winds of magic in a sense, because that's how the gods are able to interact with the physical plane. And because of that, it's very difficult to do, but wizards can mess with priests as they're trying to invoke their prayers. But in the same breath, priests can mess with wizards by attempting to halt their disrupt the winds of magic for them as well. So in any event, those are our contenders. Mm-hmm. They both are on their mounts. So we've got the War Altar for Volkmar, and we've got the Silveron for the Fey Enchantress. Can the Fey Enchantress control her insta-kill? Yes. Yes, the Fey Enchantress, if she's going through a crowd of Bretonnians, she does not accidentally kill like 6 of them. No, she can turn it on and off. It's not it is a deliberate attack. It's not a like, oops, looked in her eyes, I'm dead. It's not a gotcha. Nathan, what are you thinking?
I don't know, it's tough. Because she's mounted on the unicorn. The water itself doesn't move fairly quick. It's pretty much just a rust bucket. I'd have to say probably her. What laws of magic does she have again?
She traditionally will take the lore of life into battle, but she is the Fey Enchantress, so she is able to pull spells from like the lore of beasts and the lore of light or heavens as well.
Then I don't know. I'd probably go with her. She's got a lot more to hit with. Volkmar historically has been known to not be the strongest. Like, yeah, he's got the whole faith thing going for him, which kind of saved him with the whole Be'lakor issue when he was basically just a piñata. But
Storm of Chaos doesn't count. Storm of Chaos doesn't count.
But I'd have to say probably her. I mean, speed and magic might be a good thing. Law of Life is quite a potent thing. Even if she gets up close in combat with him, you know, she can increase her toughness. She could be, you know, Flesh to Stone is a very good spell. I'd say her. I'd honestly have to say her.
I think that's some really solid points too. I mean, she easily has the mobility game. Like, it's not even a contest. Silveron is like wind put into a 4-legged form, and is very, very mobile. Whereas the War Altar, but on the other hand, the War Altar is significantly tougher. I mean, the War Altar can take a lot of damage. It's used to going up against all sorts of crazy nonsense and having greater demons thrown at it.
Yeah.
And manages to hang in there pretty good. I think the big thing for me is that, you know, Volkmar does have resistances, you know, being a man of faith, and I think the either himself or the War Altar does bring a fair amount of magic resistance, or spell resistance as it's now called, into the game. So I don't think Morgiana would have an easy time affecting him with spells, but you do have a good point in that she would be able to affect herself very easily with spells. And if she was utilizing the lore of life or the lore of beasts, then she would frankly have a fairly easy time matching Volkmar's potential when it comes to just hitting like an absolute truck. On the other hand, I would say that the Fey Enchantress, like her glare, if she actually got like did the death glare at Volkmar and fate just wasn't with him, it could instantly kill him. And if it did, that regen ain't going to count for nothing. He's dead. So she does have a route to victory. But the other thing worth noting is that Volkmar is, of course, a tanky son of a bitch who is super resistant to magic, and he is unparalleled in his like righteous fury. I'm going to just beat everybody's butt with my own bare hands kind of guy. And he does hit like to land a hit on the Fey Enchantress. I do think he would just kill her instantly. But whether or not he could land that is kind of up to a matter of debate. For the sake of contrarianism, I'm actually going to go with Volkmar. Because I do think that Volkmar's sternness and the way the Fey Enchantress's look tends to kill people, I think Volkmar, just being Volkmar, would probably somehow be immune to it, either because her look isn't necessarily that it like causes your brain to explode. It's usually that you die from some sort of like psychological effect. Sure. Like you're so terrified you drop dead, or something along those lines. And Volkmar, I just don't think would fall for that. Or he's so righteously fervent that he would be immune to it. And I think where the Fey Enchantress does have a lot of magic, she would have to get in close. Like, she can't end the fight from range. If she can't reliably count on the stairs, she has to go in. And I think if she goes in, one of those times, Volkmar would eventually land a hit. And if he did, Silveron, at the very least, is instantly obliterated. But the Fey Enchantress might survive because of her girdle. But I think he is a much more skilled melee combatant than she is. Like, Volkmar's pretty beastly in combat.
Wouldn't Flesh to Stone also affect Silveron too, though?
It would, but I don't think that would be enough to equate out the Staff of Command plus Volkmar's own prayers boosting himself further.
Okay.
But I think it's frankly a pretty big 50-50, to be honest. I mean, Fey Enchantress always could pull out a Hail Mary and turn herself into a dragon, but Volkmar's one of those characters who could probably actually fight a dragon. And I think without the instant kill from her gaze, which, like I said, could be a deciding factor, but if Volkmar is able to resist it, which I honestly think he could, he does regenerate. Like, he doesn't need magic. He's got it built in. Like, he's constantly regenerating, and his attacks very easily can become flaming ones. So the Fey Enchantress does not have that as an option. But she can also heal herself just using Lore of Life. So it'd probably be kind of one of those fights where the two of them are just like slapping each other over and over and over again, and you're just waiting for somebody to die. But oh wow, yeah, my chat came out 50-50, like exactly.
And
that's our first 50-50.
I was not able to put it up because my mouse had to get charged, but I'm assuming everyone fixed the same. I've been having nothing but issues. Halfway through you talking, I don't know what happened, but my microphone turned off, my speakers overpowered my headphones. I am having some weird technomancy shit going on at the moment. It's weird.
You're all good. So yeah. So I think it would be a really interesting and even fight. But I could easily see both of them winning in different scenarios. I do think Volkmar would do better the longer the fight drew out, I think Volkmar's chances of winning would go up. But the Fey Enchantress does have, like, you know, if she hit him with a comet, he'd probably die. Yeah. So, like, there's also that. But also, you know, if she's throwing a comet in that close to quarters, knowing her, she'd probably hit herself. So, anyway, I think that's enough. Okay, so next on the docket is talking about the Great Bastion. Something that we're all extremely eager about, some people to the point of near insanity, is that we know at some point soon, Grave Assembly is going to show off some new systems. And two of the new systems, or three actually, new systems we're supposed to be hearing about either this week or next week at the latest is Minor Settlements, Siege Reworks, and the Great Bastion, which is its own system. It's not part of the other two systems. It's like a unique thing. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about what we're hoping to see for the Great Bastion. For anyone that's like, what about problems? Don't worry, we have a segment for that coming up. But right now we're going to talk about hopes and dreams. Yeah.
Start with the fluff before getting into the anger.
Nathan, is there anything that comes to mind or is on your particular wish list when it comes to the Great Bastion?
Well, I for one like, and I'm going to have to justify myself here because people are going to get angry. I like the maps so far that we've seen through that cinematic. A lot of people are saying, oh, you know, they should have shown off something else because this looks like a Warhammer 2 map. It's like, well, keep in mind it's the Great Bastion. It's a wall. They can't have a 360-degree map.
Okay, we've got to address this real quick. You're absolutely correct. I've seen a shocking amount of people look at that map and say, why is it just a single straight wall? What the hell, man? To which it's a wall. It's the Great Bastion.
Yeah.
It doesn't have corners. What do you want? We'll get into it, but like, come on, guys. Be reasonable. It's got to be a single wall. That's how it works. It's a wall.
The way I've explained it to people, sorry, I'm just trying to grab my cat before he attacks my cables. So the way I've explained it to people is like, look at it in the sense of like, you know, the giant ice wall from Game of Thrones, right? It's one massive wall and then a lot of different fortresses in a location, but it's not going to be something like a 360-degree map and so on, because they're trying to be as defensive as possible.
Right, yeah. Building a 364 would be idiotic.
Yeah.
You have a giant wall that you're trying to keep the enemies off of.
Yeah, like there's a good thing here that I've just seen here that why is there a tiny wall protecting a 100-meter plus wall? It's very much just like in the whole Game of Thrones universe. You have that massive wall which is your main defense, but you've got your fort with your troops, because if you try to fire down from a 100-foot wall, you know, kinetic energy and so on.
What are you going to do?
Exactly. You're not going to be able to see shit. You're not going to have a proper aim unless you're like an elf or something. So you need a defensive line.
Yeah, and that's something I saw on Reddit that was a really good point, is if you had a colossal wall, which we know the Great Bastion is literally supposed to be a quarter of a mile high, right? So it's well over 1,000. I think it's like 1,300 feet high.
Fucking hell.
Or something like that. So like it's fucking huge. But if you have a wall that big, you can't defend it from the actual wall, because what are you going to do? Like, the best thing you could do is like drop something off of it. You can't aim down. Like, if you shot arrows from that height or even drop something, it's not going to be accurate, because you're going to have like wind and a whole bunch of other nonsense, and any arrows or anything you shot from that distance, unless it's like a really powerful high caliber bullet, is probably not going to hit its mark. It's probably just going to lose a lot of its force or just totally miss. If you're dropping stuff, it'll probably hit the wall itself and like bounce, and maybe you'll kill some odd guys. But if you're not defending on those smaller forts, the problem is you're allowing your enemy to walk up and have as much time as they want to start building ways to deal with your wall. Because you may say, oh, well, the wall's invincible. Well, no, it's not. It's strong, but if you're not defending it on the ground, then on those forts, then you're dealing with a scenario where your opponent could just dig under the wall and undermine it, causing the structure to collapse. If they have the capabilities, they could make a bomb and blow it up. They could just mine through it. You have to defend it on the ground. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So you have to have these forts placed along the wall on the enemy side, so that if they do attack the wall, you can charge out of your fort and go deal with them, but they're probably going to attack your fortress because that's the easiest way in, but it's also the easiest way for you to defend it. It seems, if you don't think about it too hard, it seems counterintuitive, because you're like, oh, you have an invincible wall, just hide on your wall.
Yeah.
But there's no such thing as an invincible wall.
Yeah.
Even the Great Bastion can be broken. We've seen it happen before.
Yeah. So it's important to note, like, because a lot of people then... a lot of people are comparing it, obviously, to its real-world counterparts. You know, the Great Wall of China. Right, the Great Wall isn't like it isn't like 1,000 feet tall. It's not. It's a tall wall, because obviously, you know, it's one of the marvels. It's like it can be seen from space and shit like that. But like, remember, Warhammer gets its real-world counterpart and then dials it up to 11. Which is why we have a wall that is pretty much... It can tower over maybe Kolek, yeah?
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Kolak is not that big. He's big, but he's not that big.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's supposed to be there. It's for Warhammer, it's a spectacle. It's why you have stupid shit like a Marienburg landship, which makes no sense whatsoever. You can easily set it on fire, but everyone sees it and it's like, oh, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, with those caveats out of the way that did need to be addressed, what do you want to see from the Great Bastion battle system?
I want to see, like, I like the idea of how it works with the old style map fort thing. I hope that we see a few different variants of maps and so on. There needs to be defensive mechanics, especially for something so heavily guarded where they've got literal legions around that area, you know? Because obviously what's on the other side of the Great Bastion? It's like, it's a lot of fucking chaos. You know?
Yeah, it's literally just like garbage.
so there needs to be protective stuff. Like I want to see really it's kind of hard to say because obviously there's limitations with Total War, but just some extra mechanics would be kind of cool, like a defense system, just everything that they've not shown us the fight itself because obviously it's linked towards the siege rework, right? Like it might not be what everyone is like expecting from the siege rework for what that thing because it's tiny, right? It's a small map, but like, if it was up to me, I'd just say like fucking import the Blood in the Badlands book 1-for-1 if it was up to me.
Yeah, I think for me the big thing about the Great Bastion is because there's like literally nothing going on outside of the city. I want that part of the map to be relatively tiny and for most of the map to be dedicated to what's behind that first wall, right? So like, okay, you've got like literally enough space to deploy your troops and there's like a fair distance, you know, for the enemy or for whoever's defending the wall to be shooting at you as you're getting closer. But once you hit that first wall, I would really, really like there to be interesting things. Like one of the things I really liked about the Tor Yivris map from Eltharion the Grim and Grom's DLC was that it had traps. Like, so I'd love to see that where like if you go down a certain street, like a magical trap goes off and like a big spell blows up some of your guys and you're like, oh shit. Or if you're playing Cathay, you're trying to lure the enemy into these traps. And I also want it to be like kind of tiered. So like for there to be like a plot, like, okay, you get past the first wall, there's an open plateau where there could be an enemy army ready for you. And as they're fighting you, if things are looking bad, they fall back through the streets to the next plateau that's maybe a little more elevated so they can shoot down on you while you're fighting. And maybe have like, I mean, just that alone would be great. Hopefully if there were like maybe up to 3 tiers, I hope it feels like, oh man, I'm going to attack the Great Bastion. This is going to be a bitch. Because like I really like the Tor Yivris map. I really like the Empire Fort maps are pretty good. So something akin to the Empire Fort map would be nice, but maybe just, you know, with different variants, like you said. Yeah. So I don't want attacking the Great Bastion to be the exact same map every single time.
Yeah,
it would be nice if there were variances on the type of like, yeah, they're all going to be the same in that they have a single wall you have to get over, but it'd be nice if once you got past that point, there was some variety.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, wouldn't it be, I'm imagining it's going to work in like a very, very similar system to the forts in the High Elf territories of Wolf 1. You know, you have to go, it's going to block the entrances and so on. So we're going to see, I mean, Cathay is quite big geographically, so what, 7 different fort maps or something?
Oh, I could easily see that.
Yeah,
at least 4, if probably more. And the other thing I wouldn't mind seeing is what they could do is, so based on what we saw in the survival system is they introduced the concept of summoning reinforcements. Something that would make the Great Bastion map feel really like, oh shit, I gotta hurry and this is nasty, is if they have the ability to do that, the defender. So if whoever's defending the wall like has a capture point at the very back, where as long as they hold it, they're generating resources and they can keep summoning reinforcements. So it feels like there's an endless army defending the wall. And as the attacker, you don't get anything. Like you just gotta go. So it'd be like the reverse of what we see for the survival maps, where the defender is the one constantly spawning endless hordes. Actually, no, they did that in the survival battle. When we did that, the content creators, where Khorne literally spawns endless troops. So I'd like to just see that. Like, if you're attacking the Great Bastion or defending it, you just have constant reinforcements coming from the wall. That would really make it feel a lot more exciting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's loads of potential, and to be honest, I just can't wait to see what they've got planned, because like it's a weird thing, because obviously the Grand Bastion itself is supposed to be this major spectacle. I would have loved it in the trailer. We would have had like a shot showing Cafe from the other side, or
yeah, that would have. I absolutely agree. It would have been cool to have a camera start on that side and like go over the wall.
Yeah.
And show us like, oh, this is everything that's between Chaos and Cathay.
Exactly.
That would have been a good decision.
But like
that was a missed opportunity.
But I don't know, man. Like I'm excited. I know a lot of people didn't like the fight because obviously it showed an old system. But I don't know, man. Thinking about it from a tabletop and lore perspective, this should be massive. This should be like a hectic fight. It's just really weird because obviously until we get a better look, we're kind of like looking at it like, ooh, this is cool, but
yeah, well, like they didn't show anything, right?
Yeah.
Which was, and I tried to be clear about this, but I think a lot of people missed it. A reasonable complaint about the video was that they show you a Great Bastion, but instead of showing us a battle in the Great Bastion, that's not what we get to see. We see Miao Ying going out of the Great Bastion to attack a Tzeentch army outside. So she sallies forth, and then Zhao Ming comes from behind and hits the Tzeentch army in the back. So we don't actually get to see anything really new. It was just kind of a refresher that's more focused on battle footage, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it was only 1 minute and 30 seconds, and it didn't really show anything mind blowing.
Well, for me, it was the defensive spell. I did like the view of that.
Yeah, the lore of Yang spell we got to see was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or I think it was lore of Yang. But it might have been the lore of Yin. I don't know. But
yeah.
One of the new spells. But I think that segues nicely into the last topic. We're gonna throw some spice right here at the end of our meal, which is to talk a bit about Total War Warhammer 3 and its marketing, which has left the community feeling pretty divided, to be frank. I mean, I literally smacked a hornet's nest last night with a video, and I think I put it out fairly late in the day, and it still had like 500 comments before I went to bed.
Jeez.
And I was like, "Ooh boy, oh boy." So kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that. So Nathan, what have your thoughts been about the marketing for Total War Warhammer 3? How do you think things are going?
With deepest respects to our friends at Creative Assembly, I don't like the way it's being shown. I think it's been kind of slow, kind of drip fed, and it feels like they're buying time, which, in all honesty, like, kind of kills the hype for me too a little bit. Like, I'm going to be very honest. I'm looking at this as a fan, not as a content creator, and I want to see cool shit. I want to see cool shit. And I don't like the idea of, like, how many times were we told that Miao Ying is fucking cold and aloof? Like,
yeah, fair number.
And I would have preferred it more if we would have had, like, say, for example, because everything seems to be very highly focused on her, where if it would have been 50-50 between her and her brother, it could have shown us some really cool stuff. We've only just gotten voice acting and stuff from him in this recent trailer, and even then it was kind of goes against how they written him too, in a sense, because obviously he's supposed to be like we've seen in like the articles, he's more of like Mummy's boy, you know, so wouldn't he be more hyping up Mum other than Dad, because they're supposed to be kind of equals?
Well, I think it's that his mom likes him more than anybody else, but he doesn't seem to have a bad relationship with his dad.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like the whole drip feeding has been kind of, because it happened with Kislev and Khorne. Like we had 6 weeks in total of Kislev and Khorne together.
It was very drawn out.
Yeah. We're currently on week 2. Well, we're starting week 3 of Cafe, and it feels like it's going to last longer than Kislev and Khorne. I think that's a reasonable point. And something I'll agree with is, absolutely 100%, is that the direction they've taken has been really weird. Of that, so first of all, we do have to get out of the way that it's undeniable that COVID super duper duper fucked with like everything. Yeah.
Like you'd have to be living under a rock to not know that COVID has basically forced every single major video game project that was supposed to come out in 2021 to come out in 2022. Like it's literally everywhere. Like I do not know the amount of studios that have been forced to push back vastly outnumbers the ones that do not. So with that in mind, I assumed that it would be understandable that Total War Warhammer 3 has also been significantly affected by this. That being said, to counter that point, we had also already been in COVID times for a year before they announced Total War Warhammer 3, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, like, it's not like they should not have known what the situation was. And I think most of us would agree that doing all of the Troy crap, like, Troy's great, don't get me wrong. I still need to sit down and play it, but it looks a lot of fun. But, like, doing all of that other game stuff in the midst of the Warhammer 3 hype train was stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, it was stupid.
Yeah.
And like one of the things that I hate about CA, and I'm going to say it, I hate it. I honestly hate it, is that they are a company that works on multiple games at once.
Yeah.
I hate it so much because it's the same shit with Games Workshop. I hate that Games Workshop has so many IPs because if you don't care about one of the IPs, then when it is interrupting your cycle of the stuff you do care about, it's very, very annoying.
Yeah.
For all of us who were just like, oh my God, they announced Warhammer 3. I can't wait to see Warhammer 3 stuff. And then all of a sudden we hit like a 5 to 6 month period where there was like nothing. Like, what idiot did that? Like, why not just wait until after to start revealing it? Or at least make sure you're just doing like a post a week. They didn't even have to do much. Just a post a week would have been fine. But I think the fact that we went from pure radio silence to then coming back and it still being the same system we had with Kislev and Khorne, which was not popular. The Kislev Khorne drip feed was not popular.
That's all.
I remember being very not happy with it because it felt like they were just showing the same stuff over and over and over again and expecting the hype to keep going up when it really just kind of kept the hype like base level. And for a lot of people, that it feels that way right now. Yeah. Now, from what we've heard on the community Discord for Creative Assembly, Simon, who runs that Discord, has said that Siege stuff is coming like super soon, like new battle footage and stuff like that. Because honestly, like we just need something new, right? Like give us a roster reveal, give us a spell reveal of like all the spells from the lores, show us how they work. Give us siege battle. Give us a minor settlement battle. Give us a great... Like, there's so much stuff to show that is guaranteed to be in the Cathay segment, and yet they're taking forever. And I said this last night, in that when you read the posts, it seems like the genuine reason they're taking forever is because they're like, oh, well, we want to drip feed the lore, which I get that. And I'm enjoying the drip feeded lore, but that can't be the only thing
at all
you're doing. And that's the only thing they're doing.
See, there's a bit of an issue there, right? And this is what I was having discussions with some people. It's, the lore is cool, and they're trying to flesh out Cafe and so on, right? But a large percentage of the player base want to just play Total War. They don't care about the lore. And it's very difficult to get those people invested in lore, especially with small blogs like that, which really give you no... Like, they give you enough if you're a big lore guy like yourself or myself, where we can go, oh, you know, because this means this and this means that. But random dude who's barely just started getting into Warhammer, he's going to read something and he's going to go, well, what the fuck does this mean?
Yeah, and, you know, I honestly think that I don't mind the stuff they've revealed, but what I do think was foolish was the order in which they've chosen to do it. Where it seems like they're trying to do lore. Okay, now it's time for gameplay. What they should have done is lore, gameplay, lore, gameplay.
Yes.
Like every Tuesday is a lore bit, and every Friday is battle footage or a new mechanic or explaining how spells work or something. Because there's so many questions about the game.
Well, we still don't know fuck all about Kislev. We've got 2 laws of magic and we don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of stuff under the hood. And granted, like, you know, it could be that they're like, oh, well, you know, we're still tweaking things, all that stuff. But the one thing I've learned from watching other video game companies, and something Creative Assembly just doesn't seem to understand, is that it's okay to show things that aren't finished yet. Like, you can show us early access stuff publicly just to be like, hey, here's kind of what we're working on. Like, this is not final for the Lore of Ice, but this is kind of what we're looking at, and it does. Like, we've seen the Lore of Ice because we got to play with it.
Yeah.
But, like, the Lore of the Tempest, nobody knows what that does. And it's, like, and like I said in yesterday's video, like, I'm still in a really good place. I'm still really excited for the game. I still feel super positive. I still think they're on schedule. Like yesterday, I admittedly got pretty salty in the video because there were people that had lost so much faith that they were wanting to try and punish the company, which I think is overboard, significantly overboard. But they're not above criticism. And like, we love them. Me and Nathan, we know a lot of people at CA.
Yeah.
we know some people at GW. And like in those parts, and it feels like they're living in a bubble of being like, hey, we're excited to show you this thing, and then they're sitting there in the back going, why aren't they excited? I specifically requested they be excited. Because they're not. Drip feeding is fine, but if you're going to drip feed, you need to have variety, because variety is the spice of life.
Yeah.
If you give me chocolate and I say, okay, that chocolate's pretty good, and then you say, oh, he likes chocolate, and all you give me is chocolate for 2 weeks, I'm going to be pretty fucking sick of chocolate. Like,
pretty much.
I would like something else now, please.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing which kind of just pisses me off, right? And I'm pretty sure that you know, CA, because they watch our videos and stuff like that, and it's like, what really pisses me off is there's this big spectacle that we're all expecting at this point, and it feels like it's getting further away rather than closer, because holy crap, look, let's just say, right, we saw Khorne and Kislev, they went radio silent. Then we had Troy. And when they said they were coming back, the first thing they hit us with is a delay. And it's like, it's kind of like, it's a bit of a slap. Because, look, not only did it affect, it's affecting the hype of the Total War players. I see it, you see it. And it's affecting everyone. I mean, even Troy kind of suffered from it too. You don't go, oh yeah, we're coming back. Warhammer's coming back. And then it's just like, throw Troy in the mix, which kind of fucked over Troy. Because I think the DLC is great. I think the historical FLC stuff is awesome. I really enjoy Troy. But it was thrown into a place that nobody wanted or expected, better yet said. Have you seen its player stats at the moment? On Steam?
No, but I've heard
it's low. It's low. It's really low. For a new title, it's really low. And it's a shame because the Sophia team put so much work into that and it is such a good game. But if you throw it in the middle of something, it's a mosh pit.
Yeah, and one thing that's worth noting is for anyone that's not like familiar with Creative Assembly as a company, one of the biggest problems, and this is just a fact, is that the marketing has to be approved by the big guys, like the big guys up top. The guys that are super disconnected and frankly don't really give a shit because all they're worried about is metrics that we can't imagine, I'm sure, because they're just in a totally different world. And they have to approve things. If they, like, literally, they have to sign off on it. If CA wants to show something off, it has to go through the proper channels and get signed off. And these guys could just look at that and go, no, like, I don't want us to talk about that yet. Or no, we should do this. And you could see it with Troy. Troy feels like a super botched mishandling by some top tier dipshit that was like, hey, money. we want people to play this game, so tell them to shut the hell up about Warhammer and push Troy, because I want people to play Troy. And it did the exact opposite. That's
the issue.
And like, Troy honestly should have had like a 2-week thing. Like, 2 weeks before, build hype, week of, build hype, release, done.
Yeah.
And instead, they dragged it out for like 3 months. Or something horrible. I don't remember how long it was, but it felt like it lasted for eternity.
It was quite long, and the problem is that it wasn't really given the love it deserves. Like, I tell you what, I did a few videos because I like Troy. I really enjoyed Troy, and I was just kind of defeated. I was just kind of defeated, honestly.
Yeah, and it's just frustrating. Like, you know, something that I've seen in one of the videos that got me super irritated last night, but I agree, I understood where they were coming from, was when some creators started comparing what CA is doing versus other game companies.
Yeah.
And how they build hype.
Yeah.
And frankly, they're a lot better at it. CA sucks at it because CA does the same shit Games Workshop does, where they announce something really far in advance, and then you basically are forced to forget about it.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're forced to. Because not only do they announce it so far in advance that they're like, we don't have, like, a ton to show off yet, but what screws them is then they have something else to do. Like, if you have a company like the guys making Baldur's Gate 3, the only thing they're doing is making Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah. So it might be a lot of radio silence, but every time they talk, you're like, oh, shit, they're talking about Baldur's Gate 3.
Go.
If you're checking out, like, a lot of these dev studios, that's the thing, is that when you see the developer, like, if you're watching Nintendo and you see I'm forgetting what his name is off the top of my head, but if you see, like, the guy responsible for Metroid Dread show up, you go, oh shit, they're going to talk about Metroid Dread. Or if you see the guy who's making the new Breath of the Wild game, you go, oh shit, they're going to talk about Breath of the Wild. Like, you have these, it all goes like this. There's no interruptions. There might be dead moments, but there's no interruptions.
Yeah.
Creative Assembly, there's interruptions.
The problem is
you go Warhammer Troy, Warhammer Rome, Total War re-release, Warhammer like, and it's like, stop it. Just finish whatever you're talking about.
That's the massive issue, because they basically, threw Rome in, and then they threw Troy in. Then we got, well, before that, we got fucking sidelined with the death of Three Kingdoms, which I'm still kind of pissed off about because they mishandled that game badly, I'm going to say. Who starts with the end? The first DLC was literally the end of the story. It's ridiculous because I'm a big fan of that era. I love the like all the different games that we see, and they just killed it off with, oh yeah, you know, we're gonna make a sequel. It's like,
we're gonna start over.
Yeah, we're gonna start over because we fucked up. It's like, oh my god, you were actually getting.
Just pretend Cathay is Three Kingdoms. It'll all feel better.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. You know, it's a weird thing because I love CA, man. I've been playing since Rome 1. I'm a big fan, and I still play all the old games. Like Med 2 is still one of my favorite games, especially how moddable it is, right? Like there's a Warcraft overhaul which is fantastic, and it's like, Christ, I understand you guys just throw whatever you can sometimes, but a little communication doesn't hurt. Now, I will not compare them to other companies because I understand some people want them to be more like Paradox, for example, because Paradox has those.
I don't.
Well, not the scummy DLC.
Yeah, I was like, oh, shit, please no. Please, God, no.
but in terms of communication, they're quite good with the dev diaries, aren't they?
I don't know. You could not pay me to touch a Paradox game. I tried, and I was just like, this is not for me. I
really like Crusader Kings 3, to be honest. I quite enjoy it. But they are quite vocal, and they're very good at communication. However, if you compare one company to another thing, you're basically just saying, oh, every company should be very similar to Paradox and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, and it's not a fair thing because every company's internal nonsense is different.
Exactly.
But it does help to understand why the community is frustrated.
Yeah. Communication is key. I think that Simone, or Simon, I'm not too sure how you pronounce his name, to be honest.
Don't ask me, I don't know.
I'll have to shoot him a message when he's back on holiday. But the thing is, like, he's really good at communication, considering he's a history community manager. And he does really well with the Warhammer community. Have you seen how he acts and how he memes with people and so on in the Total War Discord for the Warhammer community?
I actually have not joined it.
Yet. He is great. He is so chatty with them, and he tells them, look, have a little faith, we've got time. He's really, really good at his job. He's honestly, he is like really good as a community manager. Like, this is what we need. We need more people like him.
Yeah, well, and I hope that he's getting paid well and proper support, and we get to see things improve in the future. But I think we've done a pretty good job, or I think we're, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we're good with having focused on what we think the issues are.
Yeah, the lack of communication is definitely the issue, because it's just that. Because the problem, and I'm going to get a little spicy here, when this happens, a lot of people get pissed off, a lot of people start raging, YouTubers start fucking ranting, because, yeah, you know, a lot of people do it.
What? Ranting YouTubers? And I never.
No, because I've seen it, which is why I keep silent in most cases, because then people start arguing with each other. I see it on Twitter, and it's like, fuck's sake. It's like, you're fighting because we can't control something, when we can never control this anyway, because we're not CA.
Yeah. Well, and it's just a dumpster fire every time. But it's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. And it's also frustrating because you kind of have this whole thing of like, okay, well, we want CA to communicate more with us, but every time they talk to us, everyone just gets super mad.
Yeah.
Doesn't really incentivize them much, but anyway, to be clear, I think I hopefully speak for me and Nathan when I say we both are, I think, honestly still excited for the game. We're just hoping we really get to start diving into stuff so that all of the community has something to enjoy, instead of just a niche part of it.
Yeah.
No,
I've got a message.
I've been greatly enjoying. I've been loving what we've been shown, but it is more than apparent that like a good sizable chunk of the community is not, and that's not great. Not great.
Okay.
And I don't think they're being babies or anything. Now, I think the people who are saying that we should like cancel our pre-orders and all this stuff, I think they're being a little fucking ridiculous. But everyone else being frustrated, I think, is totally fair.
Yeah, so that's something I wanted to mention, because some people said, look, we're going to remove it from our pre-orders and wish list. I was like, okay, look, I'm going to explain it to you guys from a person. Look, I used to work in fashion marketing. It was actually a really fun job that I had. Worked with some really big name brands, and I've learned a lot from them when it came to this type of stuff. And I'll tell you very clearly, they don't care about pre-orders being cancelled or wish lists being stopped and stuff like that, because they know that they're gonna get your money either way. They know. Believe me, I've seen this. I worked for, I can't say the brand names because NDA, which hopefully burns out soon because I was kind of bored about it. But it's just how it is. They with the brands, with the clothing brands, they knew it's exactly the same way. I've actually seen it. It's like, look, it's just they know that they're going to get your money anyway, because come release day, or for example, when like you get like this really good deal where you can get Warhammer free for like 20% off or something like that, you know, which is a pretty good deal. Why would you cancel that pre-order? You got it for a discount.
Yeah. Well, and you know, there's also the whole thing of like, a lot of the ways communities try to protest companies don't work. Yeah. Like, it's just like, oh, we're gonna review bomb them. Okay, well, Steam has a policy against that, so they're gonna fix it.
and there's one thing I want to make very perfectly clear to you guys, and I'm speaking to you all absolute honesty, like hand to heart, right? A lot of YouTubers will start generating a buzz by saying cancel pre-orders and stuff like that, and then they'll stick a pre-order link in the fucking description.
Well, yeah. Do I say this? Yeah, I guess I say this. Remember that at the end of the day, YouTubers are people that we make our money from community engagement. Mm-hmm. It does not matter what kind of engagement, just engagement. If you make something that makes everyone super pissed off, so they're all angrily slamming on their keyboards, agreeing with you or disagreeing with you, or they're leaving lots of likes or dislikes, like it. But if you can make people angry, that's money. Yeah, that's sweet money.
Yeah, it is what generates your income. Now, I'll be very serious with you guys. Look at my videos since when Warhammer 3 was announced. I stopped the pre-order links in my videos at least a month in, when I realized there might be a delay. Yet you see a lot of people generating buzz with little drama stuff, and what they do is they have fucking 1, 2, sometimes even 3 pre-order links.
Yeah, and to be fair, it could be that they're just lazy, or they forgot. Or
no,
like
I mean pinned comments.
Oh, pinned comments. Well, okay.
Yeah.
No, okay. I got nothing. Even I don't do that. Yeah. My only pinned comment about pre-orders has been, hey, don't pre-order unless you feel super confident, because the Ogre Kingdoms aren't even a pre-order bonus, guys. They're an early adopter bonus. You could buy the game a week after it comes out and still get them for free. Yeah. There's no reason to pre-order. There isn't.
I got into an argument with someone because they're like, oh yeah, because you know you've promoted the game, you've put a pre-order link. It's like, yes, at the beginning of the cycle when I thought the game was going to be coming out closer. The most recent thing I've done is I've put a link. It's not even like I'm not even making money from it. I just found this advert that has Warhammer 3 for 20% off. So I put that on my Discord because it's like, well, it's a fucking good deal, right?
Yeah. On a totally unrelated note, most of my descriptions have a Fanatical link. I do make money from those, so you should totally use that. But anyway, back on topic.
Gotta love that promo, right?
Yeah, we don't get paid for this. to be frank, dude, the amount of people who are like, "Oh, this guy's paid by CA or something," and it's like, first of all, if I was being paid to say something, I have to legally declare that. The FTC, at least in the United States, according to the FTC, I have to label the video as a sponsorship video. I have to. Otherwise, I am breaking the law, and I will be sued, and I will be in a lot of trouble. And fuck that noise. Like, but like, the way we talk about them, you think they pay us?
Oh God, no! Right? Like,
we would be kissing way more ass.
Yeah.
If we were getting paid.
If we were getting paid, we'd be like, "Oh, this is awesome," you know. But like, instead, we are honest when DLC kind of sucks and when there's an issue, like for example, how fucking Taurox was basically just reskin Lubu and stuff like that, you know. But
I like the Taurox mechanic.
Oh no, it works well. It works well. But it's just like that. It's like we're not getting fucking paid. Like if we are getting paid, like Sotech said, we have to literally put the sponsored thing and say sometimes this video is sponsored by.
Yeah, you're supposed to say it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why would they pay us when they know we're going to do it for free?
Yeah.
that's what it ultimately boils down to.
Yeah.
They don't have to pay us. We want to talk about it. B, it's ad revenue because we know it's going to get views. So, like, why pay us? There's literally no incentive.
They know, like, for example, I want to play Slaaneshi stuff, right? So they know they don't have to pay me because this build-up has been for Slaanesh for me, right? Like, it's there. I can just getting there closer and closer.
And, yeah, if you have a kid in your neighborhood who just has, like, a fetish for mowing lawns, you're not going to pay him to mow your lawn. You're just going to be like, hey, my lawnmower is full of gas and it's ready for you, and he'll be like, "Oh shit, I'm on that!" Like, and that's the end. You're not gonna pay that man.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is we got way off topic. I think that's a good stopping point for today before we get into weirder analogies. So thanks for watching, guys. Nathan, you got any closing thoughts for us?
Well,
what are you up to this week? Anything coming up?
Well, I've got to go to the gym now, which is weird because I've had food poisoning all day, so that's going to be fun. But I did go out yesterday, so I have to train. Or else...
Just be careful if you do squats.
Oh, yeah.
Be very careful.
It's mostly been coming out the front.
Oh, okay, well.
But, no, I've just got that. I'm going to obviously finish up those Chaos Warriors. And we are filming for the first battle report that will release in November.
I'm super excited to see that.
Yeah, I've still not decided what army I'm going to use, but I've already confirmed that my first guest will be an Ogre Kingdoms player.
What are your options?
Practically everything barring demons at the moment and Empire, because with the transfer, when I had to get the studio done, there was a lot of stuff broken. So I'm thinking more maybe taking a dwarf list, maybe a night goblin list, or if I want to be really if I can actually get this done, I might bring a Nurgle list, because I have a Nurgle Warriors of Chaos, and I think toughness versus toughness might be cool.
Yeah, I would say either go night goblin. I would say either go night goblins or warriors, because those will be super fun. Dwarves will just fucking annihilate them if you take even half defense.
I've got mostly a melee build, a Slayer build.
Oh, okay, that could be fun then. That could be fun. I was gonna say if you've got cannons, like ogres are totally boned. So, in any event, yeah. So thank you all for watching. For anyone that's wondering what I'm up to, I will be streaming pretty much every day. I'll be streaming Witcher 3, trying to get that sweet Twitch partnership. So if you want to come by and help, all you have to do is sit and chat. You don't even have to talk. You can just show up and leave. Just walk away from your computer. I would appreciate that. Working on that. But I'm going to be streaming The Witcher 3 every day. And also, we'll be covering any other... We know there's going to be at least some news this week. We don't know what exactly, but there will be some. Hopefully a lot, and yada whatever. We're getting out of here. Thanks for watching. Bye. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the recording.
1 sec. I'm gonna throw. There's literally no one playing Warhammer 3.
All right, Nathan, I'll see you later. I'm gonna go take care of my chat.
See ya.
Stay safe, man.
See ya, dude. Okay, guys. Before we head off, I'm gonna throw you guys a link to Mercy the Mad, who is currently playing a co-op, so that should be fun. You guys enjoy, and I'm going to head to the gym. I hope you guys have a lovely day. We'll see you very soon for the battle reports. That's going to be really fun. Trust me, I've got some really cool shit planned. And, right, have a great weekend. Well, what's that for it? See ya.